Thank you for joining me once again. This is your friend Namala Blessing. Once again, we are here to discuss about family. And today I am very much interested in sharing with you about family mental illness. One of the biggest challenge that is affecting globally everyone, and you realize out of 5 homes, at least we have a home that have a child or a client with a mental illness, bipolar disorder. Today I want to share with you of how you are able to do an assessment to your children and know that these children have developed a certain bipolar that I need you to handle, and also you as a parent on how you as a mother and a father, you can know whether you have any mental ill condition that is cropping up in your body. So today we are going to share about how you are able to find it out. Remember that many people are going through horrible situations. We have a lot of drug addicts, we have a lot of depression, we have a lot of suicidal, we have a lot of violence, and of course not forgetting that even most of the people are running on the streets and violences are happening on the streets and home just because of something that is preventable. So how do you know that I have a child that is developing a certain mental ill condition or has a bipolar disorder that is coming out? Number one, there is a challenge, a problem in thinking. Your children thinking start to change. You realize that your child is thinking more of high extreme negative. Every time she's being so sensitive about what other people are talking about, and she thinks that they are talking only negative and ill about him or her. And then also you realize that even those ones who are thinking that extreme positive, like your child thinks that she is the best ever, and any other day you forget to compliment about that, you realize that your child has gone offset. Well, there is also a challenge in the positive, that extreme positivity, where your child does not accept at all anyone to come across or in front of him or her. Those are some of the minor things that parents have been looking at and have been not taking note of them, yet they are some of the challenges. We also have a problem with mood. You realize that your child mood is not always, you cannot monitor the mood of your child. Today, your child is extreme hysterical. You realize that your child seeks a lot of attention, and maybe your child is creating most of the things to attract the attention of the family. And that is why you find that your child, one, can get annoyed, and when he gets annoyed, cannot even eat food. You realize that your child is over crying, a lot of tantrum. Your child is ever moody. You even wonder as a parent, what's happening with my child? And of course, as I told you, once their mood have changed, they fail to eat food, they fail to communicate, they fail to settle with other children at home, they even fail to sleep. You realize that your children sleep during the day, and at night they are unable to sleep. And then they will tell you, Daddy, I did not sleep the whole night. You don't take that light. Of course, every symptom and every sign is for a purpose. You as a parent, you have to go through this and understand why certain things are happening. We also have change of discipline, that your children are going to change the way they have been doing things. We have children who will lock themselves in a room. You realize that your children no longer want to associate with the community. If your child was this kind of a child that always want to play around with the children at home, this time the children are at home, but your child is not interested completely. Some of these people lock themselves in bedrooms, in toilets, and they don't want to get out. And even if they want to eat food, they always carry their plates and find themselves isolated in specific corners. Why? Because they are in fear. They think that someone is going to create harm on them. And then you realize that also some of the children have tantrums that end up in extreme fighting. So for example, if your child is over crying and again you are not paying attention, starts to fight with anything that is around. My father, my dad, do not take this for granted. Every minor sign and symptom can crop up into a mental illness that is going to affect you tomorrow. So this is the right time for you to find out those smaller chunks of symptoms so that we bring them together and see then what are we going to do as a family. I also want to tell you that if you realize that your child has changed character, for example, you realize that every time you had an event at home, this child was involved, but this time no longer, she does not want. And then also we have children who are so excited that every other time your child is too excited, and in excitement you find her actually taking extreme action, like of fighting. Because of excitement he runs out of home. Because of excitement he can power the food down, and you have been taking it as a game. There is no game once we involve the brain of a child. Of course, I'm not forgetting about also the parents, because you realize that also parents, even you and I, we have to do an assessment on ourselves. For example, if you are a kind of a mother or a father that this time you realize small things wires you off, you get annoyed so fast, like something small at work can make you get too much heaviness in your chest. Some parents tell you, I can't breathe, I am so much annoyed, this person has annoyed me, I cannot eat, I can't breathe. Of course, that is not a good symptom. It's not a good sign, and we cannot take it light. And we also find people who no longer sleep. Someone tells you, I don't sleep, doctor, I no longer sleep. People stay awake day and night, and then you find maybe you are getting a lot of other conditions like headache, and of course your organs are breaking down. So if you have been also getting that, you need to also take a note and know that you're among the clients I'm talking about today. I also want to talk about a father and a mother who find themselves fighting every time. People have been talking about violence, home violence, wife violence, husband violence, but we are forgetting to know that violence is also cropping from a bipolar that was not taken note of at an early stage. So you find that this time it has grown, and every other action you feel that fighting is the only solution to get rid of that. We have to note that. But do not forget, even you as a parent, if you feel you are no longer interested to be with people and you want to lock yourself in the room and keep isolated somewhere, or you have a certain corner where you feel in your compound where you can go and sit and you don't want people to get close at you. Of course, I'm not stopping you from having your privacy, but I'm not supporting of it being a daily routine, because it's one of the points that we are looking at when we are doing an assessment. So what are you going to do if you realize that you have children that are like that? You have children that have tantrums, you have children that are fighting every time, you have children that are isolating themselves, you have children that are causing chaos at home, fighting, breaking things every other day, and you also have children that have failed completely to work with others. This is what you're supposed to do. Number one, get them engaged. Do not allow them to be alone, because the moment they are alone, even you, the moment you keep isolated, you are giving an opportunity to this disorder to vibrate. Of course, if the disorders are growing, you have higher chances even of thinking about suicidal, of course, of which we are fighting against today. So make sure that you engage your children in activities. You can take them out, you can make them do home activities, anything that can make them busy. You also need to sit down with your child and do what we call positive counseling. Let your child understand that what is happening is not normal. Of course, from a positive ground and a compassionate environment. As a parent, make sure that your child is able to appreciate that you love them, and what you have identified in them is not a good discipline, and then we see how to go around it. Of course, do not forget that we have mental illness solution centers where you can always go and get a counselor. You can get a counselor for your children. You too can have your own counselor. You can go to a mental illness solution center or any other place whereby these disorders are taken care of. My father and my mother and our child at home, we are looking to have a healthy family. Of course, if we want a healthy family, one of the things that we are not going to get quiet about is mental illness, since we have quite a number of fightings at home, and also you find that in communities we have high crime rate, and because of these people, their mental well-being have not been taken care of. Let's start now, and start with your family, start with your workplace, start with yourself. If you have any of those problems, please, there is chance for recovery. We can recover that child. We can get back to normal if we are able to know what to do. Of course, we also have starting treatment where things have gone extreme. But I want to encourage you, don't sit on that bipolar. Don't sit on that challenge. If you are a parent that have been pampering them and also taking them for granted, understand that every sign and symptom is signifying something that needs your response. Thank you so much. Once again, I want to appreciate you that you have always joined us when we have issues to discuss. If it is your first time to be with us on this show, do not forget to subscribe to our social media platforms, and that is Family Time with Blessing on YouTube, social media like Facebook, and also Twitter and Instagram. We shall always have more and more issues we discuss together. Of course, do not forget that Family Time with Blessing is a show that is looking at how to support families to groom responsible citizens coming out to have a better nation and a strong nation. Thank you so much. Once again, we shall meet and always be together on our show. God bless you. Bye.